Hello and welcome back to Granted Gardens. Today, I'm not in the kitchen and I'm not out in the garden. Today we are in my office slash greenhouse, if we want to be honest. So you can see kind of all my plants behind me. A lot of this is stuff that I brought in for winter, and I tried to save as much as I possibly could. I will do another video on my houseplants at another time because I've got a ton of them. But today I wanted to do something a little bit special because we're trying to clear out some space in here to get ready for bringing our small greenhouse up so that we can start seeds within the next month or so. So to clear out some of that space, I'm actually going to be chopping up my pepper plants today. If you caught the end of our fall videos of the garden, we had quite a few of our banana peppers that were producing but weren't going to be ready in time before the frost. So I brought in as many of them as I could, and I tried self-pollinating some of them that had flowers. That failed epically. I'm not good at that. I need to do some homework. But we do have quite a few peppers here, so I wanted to go ahead and do a video today on canning some of our banana peppers. So let's take a look at what I got. So here we have 5 of our banana pepper plants. You can see some of them are fairly large. Some of them I probably could have picked a lot sooner than this. They're starting to turn red, but we're going to do what we can with what we have. So I'm going to go through, cut these off, see just how many we have, and see if I can at least get 1 jar of banana peppers out of them. So I actually ended up with a decent handful of peppers. They look pretty good. Some of them have some spots. So we're going to go ahead and try and make just refrigerator. We're not going to can them, but we'll get them in a can and we'll just have them in the refrigerator to add to stuff like salads or on top of hamburgers, stuff like that. So alright, so I'm soaking them, washing them off a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and chop them up. So the first step here is I'm just cutting off the tops and just a little bit at the bottom there to clean them up. That'll be waste, and then we'll go ahead and clear out the seeds. After I've got them cleaned, the ends chopped off and the seeds cleaned out of them, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping them into little circles here about that thick. I'm going to actually do this before I start my brine just because there is a very limited amount that we have here, so I don't want to make too much brine. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I'm going to start packing them in the jar to see just how much space there is in the jar left over. Now at this point it's really easy to save pepper seeds. It's really just a matter of picking them out. I usually just dry my pepper seeds on a paper plate like this. Do your best to try and pick out any of the meat on here just because that can get funky, but just let them sit out for a few days. They'll be nice and dry, and then they're really easy to package. Then I'm just going to fill my jar, which this actually turned out to be a perfect size jar. This is a smaller jar we used from, I think, jelly or jam. So you can kind of see the comparison. This standard canning jar. It's a bit smaller, but it's about the same size of jar that you would purchase your banana peppers in the grocery store. So I'm going to go ahead and put together the brine to fill this with. So since I'm doing this on a much smaller scale because it is my leftovers from the fall garden, we don't really have that much. All I'm going to need is just a small saucepan. I'm going to kind of wing the measurements of everything here, so you want to play around with it depending on how many peppers you have. But moving forward, we're just going to need salt. So I like to use the Himalayan sea salt for this. So some salt, white vinegar, water, and some garlic. And I'll show you how to throw it all together. Alright, so I've got just a few cloves of garlic here that I'm going to go ahead and chop up, just dice them a little bit. I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt and take a look at that, see where we're at. I'm going to do 1 cup of white vinegar and 1 cup of water and just see where we're at with that. And then see if that, I think that'll be enough, and then we'll reevaluate. All right, 1 cup of water, 1 cup of white vinegar, garlic, roughly half a teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt, and we'll go ahead and get this on the burner. All right, we got this on the burner. I'm setting it to about medium. We just need to get this to simmer for a little bit. Stir it really well until the salt melts or dissolves, and then it should be set to be poured in the jar. Okay, and once the salt has completely dissolved and it's warmed up a little bit, it's starting to bubble just a tad, go ahead and shut it off and pour it into your jar. Now, obviously, we're going through the kitchen remodel. I don't have my regular funnel, so I'm improvising. And I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, so I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So that mixture was actually more than enough. I have quite a bit here left over, so I might try and get that garlic out and put it in here. But that's what it looks like when it's done. So it's actually the perfect size jar, I think, for sure. Alright, so I was able to get some of the garlic back in here. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to try and get this all mixed up. I might have a little too much liquid in here, but that's not a problem because, like I said, I'm not actually canning this. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. And there you have it. Homemade banana peppers. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is the first time that I've really done them this way. So I would say we'll probably give them a few days, 5 days or so before we start tasting, but we can give them a taste in a few days and see how they turned out. So if you guys follow this recipe, let me know, or if you guys have a different recipe for banana peppers, let me know, because this one was fairly simple that I found, and that's the direction that I decided to go in. Was easy just because I didn't have that many. But if you guys have more, or if you add something else to your banana peppers other than just garlic, I would be really interested to see what you guys do in your recipes. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to sharing more with you soon.